Okay, I'm calling this special Lisle Township meeting to order, and can we have a roll call vote
Supervisor Hewitt,
here?
trustee Page, trustee McGovern.
Yeah.
Trustee Dice,
Here.
assessor Turbot.
And I'm just closing the doors, because this is still, would you mind getting those two doors, Jim? Okay, and we don't have any in-person public comment. I don't have anybody signed up. So then let me go to the online public comment. I didn't see anybody signed up, but I'll just double check. We don't have any online public comment. So the public comment, by Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and then public comment. We didn't have any online. We don't have any people online. Okay, approve payment of property taxes to DuPage County for the building at 2121 Ogden.
So this, this invoice was received by Jacob on Monday. Indicates that if it's not paid by September 3rd, then there's going to be a penalty. So that would be prudent to call a special meeting to authorize the payment so we could avoid having to pay it. The second installment of the taxes for the building.
Thank you, Jim. And so does anybody want to start with the motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment of property taxes to DuPage County for the building at 2121 Ogden. In the amount of $10,845, is it? No, I'm sorry. Okay, the remaining owed is $8,577.16.
I'll second.
Thank you, trustee McGovern and trustee Page. And now we're at discussion.
Assessor Trowbridge, you go with the numbers?
Yes,
We've discussed this already.
this spreadsheet, I put this together. There are multiple things that are occurring here. It's a multi-tenanted building, so there's, and when we purchased the property in October, we applied for exemption and we just received the exemption from the county. So that's, the timing of this is kind of awkward and I apologize for that, but we got the exemption. And this is the amount, and then I calculated just for billing purposes for the cams. This is what the bottom line is what the bubble house will be liable for those taxes.
Thank you. Will,
Trustee Geis,
So it has to be paid by the 3rd. Are they prepared to pay that amount by the 3rd or will there be penalties?
So if we pay the 8, we actually, our first installment, the county, instead of penalizing us for coming in late, they actually gave us a credit. The surplus credit towards the second payment. So our second payment was reduced to the 8,700, but we're gonna have to get the cam, we're gonna have to build a cam cost to the bubble house for that amount at a later date.
thank you.
any other discussion? Could we have a roll call vote? Ms.
Yes.
Hollowitz?
Trustee McGovern,
Yes,
trustee Page.
Yes,
Trustee Dice. Yes. Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes. Motion carries. Next is approved repairs to the food pantry air conditioning unit by Croak and Sons Heating for $4,872. Jim, do you wanna give us an update on that discussion?
Right, in my past few data reports going back to last week, I explained the situation with this air conditioning unit. Crope and Sons maintains the HVAC system inside the building, but they were not maintaining it on, the food pantry side. It was discovered that, the, condenser line, was freezing up, and the, unit was not working properly in the food pantry. So we called Crope and Sons out to look at it, and then they gave us this price, determined that it needed to be repaired with blower motor, capacitor. He gave us a price for that, and then that unit, is the main unit for the grocery area of the food pantry. In the other areas of the food pantry where the freezers are, the storage room, and the outer area where they have the produce, those are wall mounted units. And they're working, but not the way they should be, and they determined that they really need a cleaning. So they gave us a price for both, for repairing that condenser and then also for cleaning those wall mounted units. So that comes out to the total they have on their estimate here, $4,872. Now, I did ask them to give me, a price to replace that unit. That would be about $14,000. They don't, I think the unit is between 15 and 20 years old. They don't know the exact age, because when they ran the numbers, the serial number on the unit, it wasn't clear because it was worn off. So I'm talking about $14,000 to replace it versus what, about $3,800 to make the repair.
So does anyone,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve
I
the
have a
repairs.
question.
so we're
We have to go to
still,
discussion.
Oh, sorry.
I'll make the motion to approve the repairs to the food pantry air conditioning system, at a cost of $4,872 to hear the work performed by Crope and Sons Heating and Cooling.
and is there a
Sorry.
second?
Oh, second.
Thank you, trustee McGovern. Now we're at discussion, and trustee Geist has a question.
So my question is, it says here, once major issues are fixed or addressed, other repairs that may be needed, they'll provide an estimate for. So my concern is, what if these additional repairs come closer to the 14,000 and we would have been better off securing a new unit? I'm just curious as to why they couldn't create that estimate while they were here.
My understanding is it's because they don't know what else may be wrong until they open up the system. Okay, I mean, they didn't disassemble everything, to determine this is what the problem is, but when they actually go into, disassemble the system, get in there and make these replacements, it's just like anything, when you open up walls, you may discover what you don't know. So they can't estimate that.
So we still face the potential of.
Well, what would happen is when they go into the units to make the repair, if they discover, wait a minute, there's a lot more work here, I would tell them, stop at that point and let me know.
And then you'll
Here-
reach out to us.
Right, if they're gonna say, well, look, it's gonna cost another $5,000 for this other repairs we weren't aware of, then at that point, we'd have talked about actually replacing the unit, I think.
And we would have time to shop around and get some estimates of other units, so it would give us the time to make sure that the purchasing policy was followed. And you had a variety of other estimates. Trustee Geist,
So that's good to know. So what I'm thinking is, and only because I've been dealing with air conditioners, so I know. If they do discover there's more problems, and then they just fix the first parts and we spend 5,000, and then we discover we have more problems, we still have that expense. I'm just thinking out of the box, forward thinking. I think it might be prudent to have an approval that includes both scenarios today, but that maybe in parallel to whatever this is scheduled, you're already securing some estimates so that if we have to replace it, we'll already have that. We're not trying to backtrack, especially when we're talking about the fact that we're still in very warm weather. Does that make sense?
Yes. Now, you wouldn't necessarily need to get other prices. And the reason being is you can waive competitive bidding under certain circumstances, and this circumstance would be you have an existing contractor. You're already working with them. it wouldn't make sense to get prices and bring in a separate air
Fair.
conditioning contractor.
Fair.
To work on that side of the building, so that would be justification for, purchasing the unit from Crope and Sons, then you have the same company maintaining the system and.
So then that still goes back to my point, I think we should consider an approval that is for this amount, if this is what the scenario is, and up to the other amount, if that is the other scenario, so that we're not waiting, holding a special meeting, right, because that's another 2 days, whereas we could just move forward. I don't know, is that something you guys would be comfortable with? The rest of the board, anyone?
Absolutely, if it makes more sense to like you said, once they get in there, if they discover that there's more work needed, it makes more sense to replace an
So
old
maybe
unit.
we revise the motion to include, if it's just these repairs, it's limited to this amount. But that if indeed, when they open the unit, and Jim will be here to assess with them, we are approving the replacement if that's what is needed.
So then trustee Page, would you like to amend your motion to add replacement or repair?
I think trustee McGovern has a question.
Trustee McGovern,
I just wanted to throw out suggestions for discussion, being that the number is so close to $5,000, I would say $5,000 for the repairs that are written here. And I guess the number in my mind is I guess less than half the cost, or less than half the cost of the unit, or so.
It's 14.
1,000 of that.
Oh, it's 3, yeah.
Right, so it's
So 3,
closer to 4.
that's true. So what will our numbers be?
I think that could add another 10,000 onto it if we.
So
needed-
the replacement is 14.
trustee Geis,
Just,
Why would you
yeah,
have to answer her questions?
just under the 14, like 13,997.
Okay.
Okay.
Clerk Paulitz,
So my question is, right now it's not working, right? Or did you, right?
It's working, but we don't want to turn it on
Okay,
to avoid
It's
potential
It's a great-
more.
I've had that happen where
Problems.
ice is over like
Right.
that, yeah.
okay, so if they come in and they go to fix it and there's further issues. For us to get a new furnace, or I'm sorry, air conditioner, it's gonna take even longer to get. You know, it's not going to be immediate, so the question is,
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, they actually said that in this instance, for whatever reason, it's gonna take a little bit longer to get the parts than a new unit.
Okay.
Okay,
okay. My other question is this a temporary fix? Is this a patch? You know, did they give how long the unit will last after that around?
Right,
Or is it a true fix? Do you follow what I'm asking?
well, I would say it's a true fix because, I mean, they are replacing, they're putting in a brand new blower motor and a new capacitor. But even with that, I mean, I'm sure they're not gonna be able to say, well, it's gonna last you another X years.
Right.
Because
Right,
they never know.
but sometimes you know if it's a patch, you know what I mean? This might get you through for the next
So if
year
it's
or
20
two.
years old, it's a
But-
patch. Right, I mean, it's
see,
the
that's
age.
wrong, it's with the age of the unit, it's, you're kind of there to like,
Right.
do we want to throw money at this?
So, yeah, and the only other question, and I think you answered it, is that we can get a new unit right away. It's not something we're gonna have to not have air for another 2 weeks or something like that. Okay,
Is everyone comfortable with that?
Yeah, okay, so to amend, I will amend my motion to include the language. How are we gonna word this exactly?
So, do I say, so you're gonna amend the motion to approve repairs to the food pantry air conditioning unit by Propane Sons Heating and Cooling for for $4,872 up to $14,000.
Okay. I'm going to, we'll see if I can do this right. I'm gonna amend my
Sorry.
motion. No, it's all good. To approve the repairs to the food pantry air conditioning unit by work performed by Crope Sons Heating and Cooling for an amount of $4,872 up to $14,000
for the
to
replacement.
include replacing the unit versus repairing. Okay.
Thank you,
Is
trustee
that good?
Page and trustee McGovern, do you
Second.
second that? Great, and any other discussion? And then roll call vote, please.
Trustee Page,
Yes.
trustee McGovern.
Yes.
Trustee Geis.
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Yes, okay, and motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And thank you, trustee Page and trustee McGovern, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, have a good night.